Good morning, welcome to Totter. It's Friday, so start the weekend. So let's get you moving, ready to do all those jobs you need to do over the weekend safely and with great posture. So excuse me today, I have got a cough. I'm sucking a locket, so hopefully I'll try not to cough. And if I do, just ignore me and keep moving. So, and I'm in a twizzle chair, so please don't be in a twizzle chair. It's not safe for you. And I'll try not to wiggle around too much, okay? So, feet nice and wide, and let's think about posture. So, it's really easy to sit and slouch. And yesterday I did a little class in a new key, class, and they're not used to us, and they were all slouching, and we soon had them sitting up. And what they said is if they weren't used to it, so it was quite hard work. So, you're used to it. So let's practice. So, sit forwards, come away from the back of the chair. And then pull through the belly, lift up through the chest, but keep your chin tucked in so it's level with the floor, and then just sit, relax the shoulders, and you might need to wiggle them a little bit and breathe in and out. Just breathe. Clear your mind, set your intentions for today, and make sure your feet are nice and wide and your knees. And we're going to start with a gentle circulation boost. And we're going to start by lifting the shoulders up to the ears and gently, softly lowering them down. So no fast movements. And just keep going. Lifting and lowering. Lifting, lower. Now, lift up, pull them right up a bit more. And then when you send the hands down, push those fingers down and away towards the floor. And then lift up again. So really focused, bigger movement, excuse me. Send those fingers down and away. Push, push, push. And then squeeze up again. So working through the shoulders up and down. Push the fingers. And next time we're going to come into that roll. So forwards a little bit, up, all the way back and down. Up, roll it back, feel that whole movement. Oh, it's easy for me to twizzle round to the side. Up, all the way back. I love a little wheelie chair, don't you? You could get up to all sorts of mischief on it. Up, back and down. Feel that movement in the shoulder blades as they push right down. Squeeze together and push down. And if you have got a cold or a cough like me, this is a really good position to be in. Opening up the chest, letting your lungs have more movement, have more space to expand. Okay, so if ever you've got a cough and you can't get your breath, sitting upright with your shoulders back or leaning forward with your shoulders, your chest lifted, is a really good position to be in to enable you to breathe. Lovely. Okay, move one shoulder and then the other. And what happens here is you might get a bit more movement, especially in that back movement. Keep going. So not too fast. Work through that movement. And imagine you've got a circle. Imagine it's a circle moving down, back and under. And then back over the top, round the back, up and under. Just working through one shoulder and then the other. And we circle it backwards because we spend a lot of time forward flexed. So sitting forwards with your shoulders forward. So it's really important to get that movement into the shoulders backwards. Okay, let's take the hands together and out. And then bring them round and in, round through the shoulders. So it's a little flow. Open, out, squeeze, round through the back. Bring the hands in and across, almost like a little hug. Open. And keep breathing. Try not to hold your breath. And open. And in. Open. Lovely. And I've got a sore shoulder today, so this is really nice. I can feel it, but actually when we're sore or stiff, we really need to move these joints. Because we know that if we keep them still, it might not be as painful, but actually you're just going to cause yourself more trouble. Hold the arms back, squeeze through the shoulder blades and take a look up to the ceiling. Breathe. And then relax the shoulders. Let's float one hand up and then the other up and down. So moving differently, a different way through the shoulders. So that forwards, up and down movement. And anything with arms above your head can make your heart work a little bit faster, a bit harder. So you might get out of breath. If you do and it's too much, take those arm movements down, okay? Lovely. Okay, pop your hands down by your sides and we're going to lean to one side and pull up using those muscles in the belly and the core and down to the other. Now, where are your legs? Where are your feet? Attached to your pelvis. But are they nice and wide? That's it. So keep your head in line. A little lean down as if you're picking something up off the floor. Lovely. Excellent. Good. Okay, so we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to take one hand and we're going to reach to the outside edge of the opposite knee. Keep your knees wide and come back to centre. Now I'm taking my hand to the other arm of the chair, but you probably haven't got an arm of the chair. Reach, come back to centre. So it's similar to that little twist one that we do, but you'll reach into the outside of the knee. And this is a rotation through the spine. Be careful if you've got anything going on, Colette, be careful with this one. Or you've got any osteoporosis going on. Sometimes our spines don't want to move if you've got various bits going on with them. So it's just working through your own abilities and with your own limitations. But lovely side to side movement if you can. Okay. Come into that lovely heel march. So keep your feet on the floor, but you're lifting your heels. Lovely. So lift, lift. I'm on the box today, so yeah, you can see. Lift, lift, lift and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. So what are you squeezing? You're kind of pushing the heel forwards, yeah? And then pushing the other heel forward. So you're getting a big stretch into the front of your leg, into the front of your ankle, and a shortening into the Achilles. But we're looking at moving the foot into those bigger movements. Take your feet forwards and then lift your toes. And this is where the opposite happens. So we're stretching the back of the Achilles, we're making the front of the ankle shorter, but really good. And this one is really good. I was talking to somebody the other day about stopping you tripping up. Okay, if you start to shuffle, it might be because you can't pick up your feet properly, lift your toes. So this one is really good to practice, because otherwise you get what is known as a little foot drop. Keep going, and a foot drop is kind of like a lazy foot, and what happens is the front of your foot is stretched and the back is tightened. It's tight, and so when you do walk, you kind of drag because you can't pick that foot up, so you drag it, and that's when we see shuffling. So really important to work through those flexes and also lifting those knees up. So let's do that next. So hip walk forwards in your chair, sit back, and then let's work through those knee lifts. So it's a lift of the knee in front of you, and we're leaning back because if you're sitting up, you can't kind of lift the leg up so high. So lift and lower, and we're working through the fronts of the hip flexors here, and we've got a big psoas muscle. Now, can you, as well as lifting your, oh, I love this little chair. I might have it every week. So as well as lifting your knee, flex the foot. Okay, and drop it down. So this is a normal foot, and then flex it. So you get lovely, lovely feet, lovely soles, Beryl. Lift and flex. So you can see that I'm squeezing my toes up towards my knee as well. So that's the movement we would do if we wanted to walk without shuffling our feet. And you get to have a little rest as well in your chair, which is quite nice, without somebody telling you off. That's it. How do you feel about taking your knees out wide? I won't do it to the camera, so out and out. So I'll go this way. So out, so my knees going outwards, my knees going out. So we're just working the inner part of the thighs here. You're right, Beryl, giggling. So this feels a bit odd. But I was talking to a gentleman yesterday and he has cerebral palsy and he was struggling with one leg and it turns in. So I was thinking about what we can do to help him. And we do this with you. We do work parts. So you've got 4 muscles in the quads and we do try to work all of those muscles with you. But sometimes we need to work different parts better. So slight change, and be careful if you've got anybody had a hip replacement. I know Cliff, yeah. Oh, Shirley, lovely. So just keep with your legs coming up. Tilt that knee in otherwise if you haven't. So lift the knee in. Actually, we'll change that because that feels really odd, doesn't it? Lift the leg, and then we're going to lift the leg with the toes turned in, unless you've had a hip replacement. You can still do it with a hip replacement. You just need to be careful you don't lift your foot too high. So we know that hip replacements can dislocate, normally only within a certain period of time after your surgery, because it strengthens and the muscles around the hips take over and support it. But some people, depending on where they went in, can dislocate when your hip is flexed more than 90 degrees, pardon me, or if your foot is turned in. Keep going, because sometimes when they do a surgery going into the back of the hip, if your foot is turned in and flexed, it can pop out the side and the back. Oh man, keep going. Sorry, keep going. Oh, blooming heck. Keep going. What are we doing? Lifting. Sorry, that was, I had a phone call. Important one, never mind. Okay, let's go back again. Turn the toes out. So similar to what we just did, but slightly easier because you've got a straight leg. So lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift. And then let's come into a march. Good morning, Graham. Is it Graham? I think so. Oh, it is. I see your lovely face. Hello. Join in when you can. Fabulous. Good. So lovely march. So I'm going to come into standing in a minute. You can stay sitting, but if you can stand up, that'd be great. Graham, just stay sitting for now because we've done the warm up. So I just want you to get warm before you stand up if you are going to stand up. So everybody else, I'm going to stand, lift my heels, mind the legs of your chair, relax your shoulders, breathe, and come into your support, wherever that might be. Oh, I could do mischief with this chair. So Graham, if you just take some time to sit and march, whatever you fancy doing, to just warm up gently. Okay, let's step. So step to the side. So make sure you've got a steady chair, not a wibbly wobbly one like me. Step together and step back together. Step together and back and together. Step back, together, together, together. Lovely. Relax your shoulders. Are you lifting your heels up? I presume you are. I presume you're not just lifting with a flat foot. And it sounds different. So try and think. Toe heel down, toe heel down, heel toe up, heel toe up. So it's like a pony. Okay, so I want you to exaggerate it. So heel toe over, Start picking those feet up, so as if you're stepping over something. You're not allowed to stand on it or kick it. Okay, and as you come together, that's your most wobbliest part. Lovely. So toe heel, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. Good. Can you add an arm in or two arms in? A little squeeze of those fists. You can stay by the chair and just do one hand and then the other. Or you can just not step. So Chris, if you wanted to just step, just sway and do the hands, you could. Do what suits you, as always, okay? So what I need you to do though is squeeze those hands together. Squeeze those fingers into your palms. So you're really working the muscles, okay? Lovely. Good. Are you lifting those knees still, or have you got tired? And are you kicking your cat on that second foot? Okay, hold it there in the centre. Right, we're going to step back. So take one foot back. Take one arm back onto your hip, so like you've got a bit of attitude. And then tuck that, oh, that's my social. So tuck the elbow back, and then I want you to just straighten that arm. Bring it back in. So the elbow stays high. That's it. And I'm just straightening my arm, bringing it back in. Straighten, bring it back in. So from the front, my elbow is tucked away. Okay, and I'm just moving my forearm. And I'm working through the backs of my arms here. You can hold on to something with the other hand. Now we do this with a weight or the band sometimes. So working the back of the arm, the tricep muscles. And let's swap sides. So step forwards with the other foot. Take the elbow back and in, and then lengthen that arm. You can do it in seated. You could sit and stand at the diagonal. So you kind of start with your hand on your hip and then tuck the elbow back. Relax the shoulder. So it's easy to like lift that shoulder and then do it, but I want you to drop it down. Lovely. Good. Fabulous. Right, and then march for me. Good. So we're going to come into a little step sequence. So we're going to step into our clock face. So 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 6 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. So I'm probably 9 o'clock to you, I'm not sure. So you do it in your own time. It's a step. So start small. Step to the side. So it's 4 points. Step back and side. Okay. So you can either come back to a proper step and pause. If you're steady, you can just tap your foot. So use it to just momentarily pause and reset your position. How do you feel with that? So start small and then make it bigger, or stay at the same pace, same length of stride. If, however, you're feeling pretty confident and you're pretty good at that, only do it if you are. You can keep that leg off the floor in the centre. So can you see I'm hovering, I'm pausing. Now you need to spread your toes out in your shoes for this. Use your arms, hang on, push down, not hang on. That's not the right word. I don't want you to hang on. So what are we doing here? Multitasking at its best. We're stepping, heel toe. We're balancing in the centre. We're stepping back. We're altering different directions, so different planes of movement. And we're loading that weight through our bones. So a whole body movement, which is so good for us. Now imagine your clock face. Can you go to 5 past? Can you go to 20 past? Can you go to o'clock? Can you go to 10 past? And can you go to 25 past? If you can't, just stick with the set one that we did before, o'clock. And then I'm going to go right back to 6 o'clock or half past. It's difficult for me to describe this because I change my small hand to my long hand all the time. So go in different directions is what I'm trying to say. Challenge yourself. Go in different directions. Works the brain, works the pathways, works the muscles, and it works the muscle memory. And you might get better at it, more confident. Right, hold it there. Step wide and just have a wiggle jiggle because we're going to change sides. Da, da, da. So start small, and one side might feel much easier than the other. You can do this sitting. It's not as good for your balance in sitting, but you can have a rest and come back into it. So start with that 12 o'clock. What am I on now? 9 o'clock and 6 o'clock. You all right, Graham? Keep going. Relax your shoulders. Keep breathing. Oh, Ulla's in. Keep going. Different directions. And you might already be feeling confident because you've done it on the other side. But this might be your weaker side. Or you might be less confident on this side. It's really important to practice it on that side. Because you never know. You might have an injury. Something might happen where you can't use that side. Start to make it a bit bigger. Repetition here. So lots of the same movements, but within your own ranges. Okay. Side. That's it. Have a sit down. You can always come out. You can always have a rest. Grab a cup of tea. Or do it seated. Okay, I'm going to add in. So now I've got to think. 5-2. 25 pack 2. Oh God. 1/4 to. Half past. And o'clock. Right, you think it. You talk to yourself. Tell yourself what time you're going to. Because you have to think about that time. So we're on the big hand. So half past. Tell yourself. I'm going 10-2. 22. Because you're moving, you're thinking, and you're planning. But what happens is, you're thinking about it. So you're moving without thinking about that movement. You're thinking about what you need to say to yourself. So this is really good. It's really good practice. It's multitasking. And it means that if somebody was talking to you or you weren't concentrating and you're out and about walking, you're less likely to fall because you're used to stepping, walking without focusing on it too much. Okay, and lift those heels. Are we all right? Or have a rest or have a drink? Is everybody okay? So that was probably about 5 minutes of moving, stepping. So let's just lift those heels again. Lovely. Good. My favourite. Do you know what's coming? Your favourite. It's got to be your favourite. Knee bends. So toes out a little bit. And just try it in different stances. So for me, feet together, not together, feet facing forwards is pretty good. I don't feel it in my hips. Okay, so try that. My feet are still apart and I'm sticking my bottom out. My bottom goes out first. Let me show you. So my bottom goes out. My eye gaze is about 45 degrees. So it follows me. I don't bend forward, so my eye gaze doesn't come to the floor. My back is nice and neutral. And I just go down a little bit. The important thing is to get it right, squeeze. It shouldn't hurt your knees if you're sticking your bottom out. So concertinaing down and up. So bottom out, knees forwards, okay? I really need to get my hands on you. Because what we see is that, and what we see is that. that's not a squat, and that's not a squat. And even if you just go an inch and it's the right technique, that's brilliant. What should happen with your knees is that they face forwards. They don't come in. Okay. Now have a rest. Just have a rest a second. Have a wiggle. So feet were forwards there. And that kind of keeps your pelvis in line. Your legs are in the right positions. But sometimes it's nicer to take your feet a little bit wider and turn your toes out a bit. And then go down. So for different people with different pelvis shapes, this can be easier for you to come down a bit. And just try it. Just try it. Remembering to keep your knees going out, not letting them come back in. And again, you don't have to do many. Trying to just keep your eye gaze. So I'm looking there, and I'm looking there. I'm not looking down, okay? Fabulous. Lovely, you're amazing. All my lovely Zoomers. I'm hot, are you hot? Right, and rest. Phew! Wiggle jiggle. Wiggle jiggle. Feet nice and wide. Da-da. So we're going to start by lifting with the toes up. And sway to the other side, lift the toes up. Lift, lift, lift. So just releasing really. Can you take your feet wide, bend your knees, hands on your hips or one on your surface and circle through those hips into a full circle. Now when we're warming up, we only tend to do the front half, but we're going to do the whole circle here. So from the side, it's a circle, so it's like a tuck under and a tuck out. Tuck under, tuck out. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction. So back, round, under, back, round, under. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I feel a song coming on. Isn't it the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? You go da, 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 da. Do you know that one? Jump on in. We won't do that. And then going the other way. Am I rabbiting on? Oh, that's it. Little circle. So just releasing the spine, the lower back, and come up. Grab a drink. I'm going to open my door because I'm boiling. Lovely. We will sit down shortly, but not yet. And I hope you've got a band. Okay, is everybody okay? Fab. So let's come into some knee lifts in standing. So knees come to the front. Knees come to the front. So I'm not going fast. I'll show you from the side. Lift. So I'm flexing my foot again. And I'm lifting my knee. So I'm going from one leg to the other leg. Lift and drop. Lift. So we're trying to get those knees quite higher than a march. Okay, but you're doing it in a good speed so that you feel controlled. Your posture is really upright. Lift you through your chest, so rather than kind of bending, lift the chest, pull the belly in. These muscles in the front of our hips need to be open to lift them. Squeezing those toes upwards, lift. Okay, hold it there. We're going to add on. Now, we're just going to watch for a minute. We're going to lift one leg, not as high, and we're going to straighten it, bring it back in and down. So lift, straighten, point the toes, lift and down. Try it, give it a try. So not very high, because what happens is your quads get really short and it's a bit uncomfortable. So straighten, bend, down, transfer the weight, lift, point the toes, straighten the leg, bend and down. Can you feel that? Lift, yeah, straighten, lift and down, lift, straighten. Let's do 4 more, or not if you can't. If it's too much, have a rest. This is quite focused into the quads, so it's quite a tough one, this one. Last one, lift, straighten, lift. And then take your feet wide and just a little wiggle. We will stretch out your quads, remind me. Go quads later if I forget. Okay. Actually, we can do a little something now. So we can kick the bottom. Kick, so it's like a flick. So step, I'll show you from the front as well. So a step wide kick. Step wide kick. If you've got a knee replacement, it might be a bit uncomfortable, so smaller movements. So lift and kick. Lift and kick, that's it. So you're trying to kick your bottom, but remember, nice wide feet. So I'm transferring my weight, so I'm coming back to a stable base of support. Lift and flick, lift and flick, and that's going to stretch out the quads to some degree. Good. And one more each side. Kick and flick. Kick and flick, lovely, good. Okay, little heel dig. So I'm going to tuck my heel, pop my heel onto the floor and bend my other knee. Bring it in, I'll show you from the side. Heel, bend, bring it back in. Heel comes onto the floor, bend your back knee. I got rid of a wasp and now he's come back in. He must like me. I don't like him. I say it's a him. Go away. That's it. Sorry, I hate them. Sharp intake of breath. I normally run, so you're lucky. Oh. Keep going. Keep going. And rest out. Wiggle, jiggle. Okay, so a little bit of balance and then we'll sit you down. So, not to do on a wheelie chair, but you haven't got wheelie chairs. So we're going to come into our lovely tandem. So you can do this in seated if you're tired. It's not as effective, but we will sit down shortly. So, one foot in front of the other, and you can just stand for a second. Stand and think posture. So, sometimes we slouch. I'm more likely to lean forwards and fall forwards. I've got no control of my belly, my core, because I'm forward flex. I'm leaning forwards and it's all just there doing nothing. If I pull up, pull my muscles in my core in, relax my shoulders, I'm right over my feet, my toes are spread out in my shoes, and I'm much more steady. You can use your hands to balance. You can pop your fingers on something and just feel that difference of standing still. Your feet might be, your ankles might be going a bit wobbly and a bit crazy, but that's fine. That's your body, your brain getting used to standing still in a really unstable position. Okay, so that's, remember which foot is in front. So my right foot is in front of my left. And then we're going to walk. So like your tightrope walking. Or if you're too unwobbly, you can just do little pin steps with really narrow feet, with the joint of your toes tucked into your instep. Okay? Or if that's still too much, just a narrow step forwards and back. Otherwise, if you can, do a little tightrope, toe to heel, walk forwards. You can come backwards, or you can just march around and go back the other way. It's really good to practice going backwards as long as you're safe. As always, we need you to be safe. Eye gaze is forwards. Use your arms. Try to be confident and hold yourself. Hold those muscles in your belly in. And just practice. As I say, go within the confines of your chair or your support if you need to, and just work within those limits. As always, if you're wobbly, what do? Step out wide. That's your control. That's your default position, your safety position, that compensatory step that takes you into a safe position. Okay, let's come to the other side. So I'm going to take my left foot in front of my right foot. Relax the shoulders, spread the toes out in the shoes. I'm quite wobbly on this in this way. Make sure that your weight is evenly distributed through both your feet. So to start with, my weight was forwards on my front foot, so I was quite wobbly. When you take it evenly onto both feet, hopefully you'll be more steady. Spread those toes out, pull the belly in, eye gaze forwards, soften through your knees and just hold. Relax into it. Remember to steady yourself, you step wide. Lovely. Here we're just going to lift the back heel, and then we're going to rest onto that back foot, lift the front toes. So a little rock. Transfer the weight forwards and back. Lifting the toes, lifting the heels. I'm quite wobbly on this side, and it might be that your strong legs, so my strongest side, my right side, my dominant side, my right leg is behind. So that's probably why, because that's not my leading leg, even though my weight is distributed evenly at some points. Lovely. And then let's walk. So taking the weight onto one foot, then the other. Da, da, da. Use your arms to balance. Doing whatever you need to do to be safe. Lovely. I love how you have a cup of tea, Caroline. Have you got a cup of tea or coffee? I'm jealous. That's it. Keep going. Keep going. One more time. Heel toe. Heel toe. Lovely. Da-da, da-da. And then step wide. Wiggle, jiggle. Good. Well done. So, you hop, Colette, yeah. Concentrating. Lovely. We're going to go for a walk. So I want you to just walk around your space or around your chair or just march if you need to march because you're a bit unsteady. So we just walk in and try not to keep going round in a circle because you'll get dizzy. Now, turn to the outside of your room, maybe. So you'll turn into your left and then keep walking. And then maybe turn to your right. So little steps to turn around, controlled steps, and walking around. If you're sitting, you're right. You're right, Chris, are you going? If you're sitting, just march. March, but look in different directions. You don't have to walk. Turn around. That's it. Take your time to turn around. If you feel dizzy, then slow it right down. Okay, so you're marching on the spot to turn around and walk in the other direction. What about if you pretend to meet somebody and you've got a side step, so you've got to step out the way. So step 2 steps to the side and then walk around again. Oh, they've come back again. So I'm going to step 2 steps to the side and then I'm going to walk around again. I'm going to step 2 steps, 1 and 2, and walk around, and 2 steps in, and walk around. Lovely. Are you picking your feet up? Are you shuffling? Walk around. That's it. Good. So just take your time. Going in different directions within your room. And then come and sit down. So make sure you sit down safely, grab your bands, grab a drink if you need to. Oh, are we all right? Give me a little thumbs up. Great. Lovely. So slightly different today. A bit more work into the thighs, a bit more work in walking and multitasking. So, really good. Oh, I tell you what we didn't do. We didn't stand on one leg and count. Did you do that for your homework? Did you practice? No, I bet you didn't. You little I didn't actually. I forgot. Try it this weekend. Honestly, it's so good for you. Even if it's just for 10 seconds. Okay, so bands. Let's do some band work. Let's do finger work. So I really want you to think about your grip strength. How many of you find it really hard to undo a jar now? I used to be the one, they'd go, Mum, can you open this? And I go, oh yeah, sure. And I'm not as good anymore. Because your grip strength decreases, it declines, okay, which takes away from your arm strength, shoulder strength. So let's do a little bit of grippage. So we're going to fold, fold, fold. Fold, fold. So you've got to, like, you can get both hands on it. Come in. Oh, blimey. Don't fall off your chair. Which one are we at? This one? Nope, that one. Okay. So hold it close to your chest and then take the top one and hold the bottom one. So like you're squeezing it so that when you push it away, you've got some tension on it here. And push those wrists away. I love this one. You know, I'll try and do this one. But squeeze with all of your fingers and thumb. Bring it back in and release. Squeeze and push away. So I'm not just pushing my hands away. I'm then pushing my wrists away. So my arms are straight. I'm pushing my wrists away from each other. Bring it back in. And go again. Push, push. Push away. And then bring it back in. Let's do one more. Now, we normally try and pull it away, but with long arms, that's really hard, isn't it? So bring it back in, squeeze and pull. And let go. Squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. So you've got to really squeeze on those fingers. Squeeze and pull. Graham, don't do it if it hurts. Just squeeze your fingers. Just squeeze your fingers on the band, okay? If it hurts your shoulder. All right. Top hand on the bottom, bottom hand on the top. Adjust and go again. Push away and bring it back in. So what I'm trying to get you to do is really feel that squeeze into the band and bring it back in. Adjust it so you don't like want to get all of your fingers on it and push away. Bring it back in. There you go. Let's do one more. Big squeeze. Good. Let's open it out a little bit. Just about a quarter here. I'm not sure if I can do it. I've got a painful shoulder today. So drop your hands down to about the height of your waist and then just try to pull those arms apart. Pull the hands apart and then let go. So just a squeeze. If that's too much, just go single here. So pull apart, let go. Pull apart. Let go. Slowly let it come in. Actually go single anyway because it's easier. I think you'll be able to do more. So pull apart. So you've got long arms, your elbows aren't bent, and that means we work a certain part of the shoulders, okay? So tuck your chin back in. Oh, your back, Anita. Lovely. So pull apart, slowly in. So don't kind of let it ping back in. If you let it come slowly, you're working the opposite sides of the muscles or the opposite, I can't describe it. It's called eccentric and concentric movements. So you're working part of the muscle this way and you're working the opposite the other way. Oh, rest. Blimey. Roll those shoulders, one and then the other. Wow, that's good. Okay, let's do fingers, wrist mobility. So what we sometimes do is the fingers. We're not going to do that today. We're going to do the wrist, arm movement, shoulder movement. Actually, I'm going to do it the other side. So I start with the band and my arm straight in front of me. Graham, drop it down if you need to. If it hurts your shoulder, drop it down. We've got the tail poking out the top. Now, Peter, I don't know if I've shown you this before, so you might need to watch first or just try it. So I'm going to tip my hand, and you can see that the band is in front of my fingers. I'm going to use all of my fingers to take that band into my palm. My thumb is free. Then I bring my thumb up, and you can see the band is in front of my fingers again. So I work my fingers to get the band in. Thumb down. So it's a shoulder movement, it's finger movement. And you have to use all of your fingers to get that band into the palm of your hand. Now you can see, if you can, keep your arm nice and straight. If it's too much, you can bend it. But what happens here is we're twisting and tilting. We're using the top of the shoulder. We're rotating. We're working the front of the shoulder, the arms. We're working the fingers. Okay, working fingers is fine motor skills. So it then allows you to be able to do your buttons up. If it's too much, literally just bring your arm in. It allows you to do fiddly things like buttons, zips, sewing, screws, all sorts of things. Change sides. See how you get on. I'm going to drop that arm down. So work through all of those fingers. Literally, you might get one finger stuck. You really have to get hold of all of the band within the palm of your hand. So, and because your arm's outstretched, you have to really, your wrist kind of stays fairly still. It's your elbow that moves and the shoulder. Are we all right? Dum-de-dum. That's it. That's it. So it's a rotation. You're right, Shirley. Good. And then let it go. Fabulous. How are your shoulders? All right. Lovely. Let's do some little arm movements. So we're going to pop that band under your thighs and just hold the ends of them with your palms facing in. So I've got them. I've got the bands over the tops of my thumbs, tops of my fingers. My thumbs are pointing up. And then I'm going to just bend my arm, bring my hand to my shoulder and lower it down slowly. Now you can see I'm starting with my hands on my knees or towards my knees. I'm keeping my elbow tucked in. And this means that you work the biceps, the fronts of the arms. Keep that hand tucked in and we really isolate that muscle. And slow it down. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3. And the elbow, the hand kind of hits the thigh and then it comes up to the shoulder. It doesn't quite reach the shoulder maybe, but almost, and then right back down towards the knee again. Lift up and down, and then let's do alternate. So we're going to lift one, drop and lift the other. Good. Lift and drop, lift and drop, lift and drop. Good. Okay, hold it there. I was going to try and do, there's one that it's like oh I know, so hold in to the center of your thighs, so inside your thighs, so your hands are quite close together, and then you're going to lift your elbows up. So this is a fly, and you might just need to adjust those bands so you get tension and lower down. So you lead with the elbows, elbows lift, hands follow. Good. And down. Lovely. Lift. So really working. Can you feel that? Working. As I lift, I'm working this part of my shoulder, making it really strong. So if you need to press down on anything, you've got the strength in those shoulders to be able to push yourself up from beds or using crutches or press ups, whatever you need to do. Supporting yourself as you lean down. Lovely. Good. Get rid of your bands. Let's stretch you out. Well done. So, let's stretch your arms out. So take one arm out, send it back a little bit, and then bring it in and across to your opposite shoulder. And then just hold the back of the arm and bring that arm closer to you, or pop that hand further away, so it's like a little reach out across. And you're just supporting it with the other hand, and then just lift the chest. So it's quite easy here to be bent forwards. Lift the chest and breathe. I'm really warm now, are you? Band work can make you really warm. You think you're not doing as much, but actually you're using your muscles more intensely. So make sure your feet are wide and forwards. Okay, can you pop that same hand on your shoulder and wiggle jiggle the hand down towards the centre of your shoulder blades? And then same thing, try to hold it with the other hand if you can, and then use that chest lift to bring it back. You might not be able to get there, that's fine. Just taking that hand down. So you're taking that elbow up by lifting the chest. So watch from the side, it's here and then here. So I get a bigger stretch. Okay, drop that arm down, shake it out. Other arm, take it out, send it back. So opening out across the chest. Oh, lovely little stretch there. Bring it across to the opposite shoulder. You can leave it there or support it and bring it across. Breathe. And then can you pop that hand on the shoulder? Take the hand towards the middle of the shoulder blades. Use the chest to lift up, or the hand, and then use the chest. Oh, my shoulder feels a lot better now I've moved it. Breathe. Bring it down. I feel I did something else with the shoulder. Never mind. Take your hands into your lower back or hold the chair. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Lift the chin up. Breathe. Feel that chest stretch. Lovely. Let's stretch off the legs. So I said we'd stretch out the quads, which we did with that little flick, but sit kind of diagonally on, because normally a quad stretch would be this one here, but I don't want you standing up, okay? So imagine we're trying to do that. So send the foot back, hold onto the chair, and then lean back. So you should feel a little stretch into the front of that thigh. Lovely. And then come sit forwards and then twizzle round, other side. So the further you can wiggle that foot back, the better. Cliff, be careful, or people with hip replacements, just be careful, because this might be a bit uncomfortable for you. And for some of you, just that drop of the knee might be enough to stretch. If you want to take a lean back, you can. The other one in standing here, if you wanted to do it after class, is just taking your foot back and then leaning back a little bit. So it's that stretch into the front of the thigh. Okay, let's stretch out the hamstrings. So I'm taking my leg away. I'm sitting on the edge of my chair, the front third, so you're safe. Hands on the other thigh, hinge from the hips. So I'm not rounding my spine, because you don't stretch out. Feel the difference, round through the spine and then lift the chin. You feel a bigger stretch into the back of the leg. Toes are pointing up to the ceiling. And then let's stretch the calf. So sit up, relax the toes off, and then squeeze the toes up towards the knee. So it's a big fat toe lift. And then swap sides. So other heel on the floor. Lift through the chest to start with, hands on the thigh, and then hinge from the hips. And just breathe. Lovely. Sit up, relax the foot off, and then lift the toes. Lovely. Rest there. Sit back. 2 minutes of breathing. So just rest. Close your eyes. Feet nice and wide. Sit back. Grab a drink. Long deep breath in through the nose. Expand the lungs. Upwards, outwards, sideways. And then breathe out slowly. Without coughing. Go again. I'll let you do it. Really deep breath in through the nose. Fill those lungs and all the way out. Deep breath out. Get rid of all that carbon dioxide. And breathe normally. Just feel the temperature of the air changing as you breathe it in and as you breathe it out. That's your body warming up, your breath, the air that you breathe in. And the air might feel a bit cool today, and that's fine. Just remembering as the temperature drops, protect yourself. If you do have a cough or asthma or COPD, make yourself used to having a scarf to wrap around your face so that it stops you coughing as you breathe in that cold air. Like that. Just breathe. Relax the shoulders. Relax all those muscles in the face. Just breathe. You've done your exercise for today. So you can give yourself a big tick, a big pat on the back. And if you do your homework over the weekend, you can give yourself another pat on the back. Just a little bit, every now and again. It all adds up to keep you mobile, strong, steady. And then just know that you're doing everything you can to keep yourself safe and independent. Just notice your breath. And then just set your intention. You might have a busy day ahead of yourself, or you might have a quiet day. Just think something positive and set your intention to stay positive throughout the rest of the day. And then set your intention that in the morning when you wake up, start with a positive thought. And then we're going to move our toes, move our fingers, sit up a little bit taller, move your shoulders, open your eyes. Take a deep breath in and a sigh. Yawn, stretch. Oh, well done. Give yourself a little round of applause. And thanks for joining me. Really well done. So a couple of new bits today, adding on. So hopefully you'll feel the benefit. And we'll see you again next Friday or Monday if you're joining us for Move More or Renew. Next Monday, for those coming to Move More, starts at 10:15. So come in early. I will send an email out to you to remind you.